Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery? Why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. Hey, I've got a really interesting and important conversation coming up in a few minutes with two good, decent, lovable Americans who are doing what they can right now to protect people with the rights of people with disabilities in this country. We will get to that in a second. And there's going to be no easy way to segue into that conversation, because I've got to start with a bit of a rant here about the traitor in the White House. The President of the United States is an enemy of this country. Every time I say that, I still find it so difficult to say. The current president of this country is an enemy of this country. He's a traitor to this country. Again, I don't have 7 hours today to go through every piece of evidence supporting what I just said. I just want to start here. Just here. Keith, can you show me that NATO headline? Can you put that in front of me? I'm so tired of this. Do we have it, Keith? If not, I'll just say it. Trump's bashing NATO again this morning. That's the headline. I forgot where we grabbed it, but the headline is Trump bashes NATO. Again, Donald Trump's over at the NATO summit in Turkey, which will begin here momentarily, I believe maybe even tomorrow. He didn't even want to go to this NATO summit. He said that this morning in a press conference, but it's the headline. There it is again. Trump bashes NATO. That's all he does. Trump bashes NATO. Trump bashes our allies. Trump bashes our European allies. Trump bashes Ukraine. Trump bashes NATO. You never see a headline. You've never seen this headline. Trump bashes Putin. You've never fucking seen that. Trump's never bashed Putin. Trump's never criticized Putin. Trump bashes NATO yet again. Just music to Putin's ears. Exactly what Putin wants Trump to say. Probably exactly what Putin told Trump to say. They had an 85-minute conversation, private phone conversation, just 2 days ago, Trump and Putin did. I have no doubt that Putin told Trump again to go after NATO, to criticize NATO, to bash NATO. And on cue, there he is. There it is. Trump bashing NATO. He said this morning, he questioned again this morning, he does not even know why the United States of America is part of NATO. Putin's smiling. Said that he didn't even want to go to this NATO summit. But he only did it because he likes Erdogan, the dictator that runs Turkey. In fact, Trump so despises NATO, and so does whatever Putin wants him to do. Trump this morning said, you know what? He thinks he's going to sell F-35 fighter jets to Turkey. Trump said that this morning. That's banned by U.S. law. America cannot sell F-35 fighter jets to Turkey. Trump said this morning he thinks he will. You wake up this morning to another headline, the same headline. Trump bashes NATO. And I'm compelled to say what I've said so many times before. The current president of the United States is not on the side of the free world. What an amazing thing to say. And I've said it a bunch. The president of the United States is not on the side of the free world. Never has been. From the moment Putin invaded Ukraine, Trump has never been on Ukraine's side. He's always been on Putin's side. Donald Trump does not stand with the free world. Donald Trump does not stand with NATO. Donald Trump does not stand with our European allies. He stands with Putin. The current president of the United States works for Putin. I got in a lot of trouble a few months back when I said that on CNN. CNN has not been as open to having me back on. When I said openly, why is this confusing to anybody? Trump's not on the side of the free world. Trump works for Putin. Hell, Trump's probably a Russian asset, I said. And then in real time, the host, the man who I respect the hell out of, said, well, we just need to say there's no proof of that. There's no proof that Donald Trump is a Russian asset, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. He works for Putin. Donald Trump has never, ever bashed Putin. He's spent the past, 18, 19 months of his presidency from the moment he was sworn in. He's spent that time, in addition to every corrupt, lawless, un-American thing he's done here at home. Donald Trump has spent the past 18 to 19 months doing nothing but bashing Zelensky, bashing Ukraine, bashing our European allies, and bashing NATO. repeatedly, almost daily. So you tell me whose side he's on. Let me close with this. I do a lot of media over there. I do a lot of media in Europe. And automatically, whenever we're talking about this and Trump and NATO and Ukraine and Putin and Russia, I find myself apologizing to the rest of the world. I spent a good deal of the last year trying to fucking wake up our European allies. Every time I did a media hit over there, hey, wake up. France, Germany, all the rest of you, wake up. Trump's not with you. Trump's not siding with you. Trump's not on your side. He's with Putin. He works for Putin. Hey, Ukraine, wake up. Donald Trump is not your friend. He's your enemy. Wake the hell up. Don't come over here and bow down to him. Don't come over here, Europe, our European allies, and give him presents and pat him on his back. No, stand up to him. Punch him in the face. As long as Donald Trump is in the White House, the United States of America is not on your side. Ukraine, Europe, NATO. And I think now they get that. And so now I apologize. But I implore our European allies to keep punching Donald Trump in the face, because right now, Donald Trump is their enemy. Right now, Donald Trump is an enemy to the free world. And there he was again this morning, bashing the free world. Let's talk about something here at home. Two people who I have just enormous respect for. Let's pull them in, Keith. Naida Green and Nick Paro. Where are their beautiful faces? There's
Hey, good morning, Joe.
And there she is. There's Naida. They have embarked upon a really important task here that we want everybody to join in. Let me introduce them first, though. Naida Green is the head of the Disability Community for Democracy, doing great work. Nick Paro, he's a disabled veteran. He runs, and you need to follow and subscribe to these folks on Substack, Sick of This Shit publications. They have teamed up, partnered up to do what they can right now to push back against what appears to be kind of an under the radar attack from Trump's Justice Department on Americans with disabilities. Nick, Naida, welcome. Somebody get us started and provide kind of the context here, you two.
Can I?
Naida, I'm going to turn to you.
There
was a 1999 Supreme Court decision. The Justice Department comes out with a memo a few weeks ago attacking that decision. Give us some explanation and context.
So I'm going to give you some context on actually the worst thing about the memo is that they wrote it, they released it the day before Juneteenth. And if you know the history of this country, Black people who were enslaved would run away, and they had a term called drapetomania. So if you were enslaved and you kept running, they said something was wrong with you, because who knew that people don't like to be enslaved?
Yeah.
Right. So they would cut off your toes. That's what they would do to you if you ran away. And so they dropped this literally after 5, thinking nobody was paying attention. The disability orgs were paying attention. I got a message about it Friday evening while I was meeting with my team, Disability Community for Democracy. We're all run by volunteers. And then I woke up and I'm like upset, and I messaged Nick and I said, Nick, I need to do something. We need to do something. I wrote a statement, and Nick, you can take it out.
Back up, you two.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Naida. I like that beginning. What is the memo? What's in the memo that's so troubling? Explain the memo. Let's start there.
So the memo, what's in the memo is that states and territories do not have to place you in the least restrictive environment possible. So if they want to keep you institutionalized for absolutely no reason, they can, even if your doctor says that you can go home. And and that also applies to schools, and not just like psych institutions, but it also applies to schools and applies to people who receive who are in nursing homes and who need home care. Applies to everybody, and this also gives them the opening to institutionalized dissent. So we have something called in this country protest psychosis. We have a
Yeah.
history of this. So this memo is bad all the way around, and the last thing I will say about this memo is that because it is a Supreme Court decision, it's not law, and we you know what's going on with Supreme Court these days. They are not respecting any precedent at all.
So stop. Let me stop you there, Naida. Nick, let me go to you. If I understand Naida correctly, the memo is claiming that federal disability laws don't require state level integration. And
Correct.
that seems to conflict directly with this 1999 Supreme Court Olmstead decision. Explain.
Correct. So on, like Naida was saying, on June 18th, the Department of Justice issued a memo titled Application of the Rehabilitation Act and Americans with Disabilities Act to State Institutionalization of Patients with Severe Mental Illness or Disabilities. And it's exactly that. It is exactly intended to undermine and take the legs and um, authoritative power on the Justice Department's side when they're
Yeah.
prosecuting cases, when they're handling cases, that they will not stand with the rights and freedoms of people with disabilities to have the least restrictive care, either in schools or in home or in any circumstances. And like Naida said, the next step is labeling dissent as a mental illness. We've already seen last year with the Trump derangement syndrome attempts to have that researched and turned into a DSM labeled disability, things like criminalizing homelessness. There's a trend in this, but I won't go too far ahead because I see you've got a question.
No. I just back up for a sec
Yeah.
here. Again, just to explain to our listeners, the 1999 Supreme Court decision, of which this DOJ memo of a few weeks ago is in direct conflict with. What did that 1999 Olmstead Supreme Court decision basically say?
In a short
Yeah.
version, it says states and territories cannot forcibly institutionalize people for severe mental disabilities or physical disabilities. They cannot just keep you indefinitely. What it did was it ended segregation and discrimination against people with disabilities. And
Wait,
right now that is being undercut.
oh, okay. And so that Supreme Court Olmstead decision makes all the sense in the world. The Trump administration is trying to undercut that decision.
Correct.
Naida or Nick, like, just let me ask the stupid question. Why? Why are they doing this?
What, Naida, before you jump in, because I know you've
Because
got a
I
lot
know
to say
she's
on this.
I know she's getting ready to jump. Naida, hold
You've
your
got a
fire.
lot. You've got a lot to say on this. One of the things that we found out very early on in all of this was Bloomberg put out an article naming Stephen Miller as the driving force behind this DOJ memo, which should probably tell you exactly what you need to know about what they're trying to do and why, is because this is the eugenics regime. And they are trying to fully implement eugenics policies. Yes, we talk about them in framing of Nazi policies and what Hitler did, but this is older. This is American Confederacy policies. These are hate policies that we have had or thought about in our country for a long time. And there's no other word to describe it other than eugenics.
Naida, jump.
The thing I want to just say to this is that this memo also supports a lawsuit led by Texas that is pushing back against the same type, is saying that the regulations that were put into place under the Biden administration that finally said we are going to codify the Olmstead decision in regs. This memo says we are not, we agree with the case, the lawsuit, therefore we're surrendering. They've done this with the initial 504 lawsuit when they said it was going to be declared unconstitutional. I just want to say this one thing. We had something called ugly laws. And this month is Disability Pride Month, and it's also at the end on the 26th is the 36th anniversary of the ADA, and it's also the year anniversary of the executive order that Nick was talking about.
Mhm.
And I want people to understand that eugenics is a pseudo racist science, and race in this case is about your body, not just your
Mhm.
skin color. So if they feel your mind and body does not work properly in any way, shape, or form, they want to shove you uh, into some sort of camp, institution, because you can't produce. This is what this is
Yeah.
about.
Well, and Naida, again, Nick, and you said it, Nick, but when you look at the 1999 Supreme Court decision, it basically said people with disabilities are integral parts of their community. And then it goes on to say the decision that segregating or isolating disabled individuals is unacceptable and dehumanizing. And Stephen Miller and the Trump administration trying to reverse that via executive order, via a Justice Department memo.
Yeah, and it fits into a very long pattern of this regime, this occupant's style since he's been in. When he first came in, we have now criminalized homelessness, or there's executive orders around criminalizing homelessness. There are executive orders describing substance abuse as a crime so that they can criminalize substance abuse rather than offering help and support for recovery and integration back into your community, because we know that recovery works for a lot of people, and these are trying to take this away. And then so this folds in with the continuation of these types of criminalizing things that are put onto people as causes. Like homelessness is a failure of our society to take care of those around us, is a failure of our society to create community in a lot of ways. And criminalizing that is just penalizing people who have already been forgotten or left behind. And so this fits that pattern, just like the attacks on the immigrant community and the attacks on our LGBTQ plus community. It's all tied in together on forcing us into these tiny little bubbles of what we can and can't be without seeing the humanity behind it.
And what's the one of you mentioned earlier that expanding what they're trying to do, this discrimination, this isolating or institutionalizing even people who just wage dissent.
Correct.
Like explain that.
So one of the things we have seen with this administration is last year there was I believe it was in the House, a commission set forward to research and codify Trump derangement syndrome as part of the diagnostic manual to say that it is a disability, and and that dissent in itself is wrong, and that there's something wrong with you because you have Trump derangement syndrome. And they're going to use that as the lever, along with naming people Antifa, whatever you want to freaking name people, is they're going to use that as the lever to say, Joe Walsh, you have Trump derangement syndrome. You need to be institutionalized, and your family and your care providers have no say in it. And this is going to hit communities really hard. And I know we're talking about the dissent part here on a lot of on a state level, but there's also the territory level where this is going to hit even harder, where resources are less available just because they're treated differently than states are, and they get different preference. They have a lower level of preference on our scale, and so anyone who's dissenting there, it's easier to make them disappear.
So you two warriors, you two happy warriors, what can be done? What are you doing? What can we do about this?
We have partnered. Well, Knight, I'll start. We've partnered together to do something about this, to say no to Crip Crow. And Naida, can you explain?
I love that. I love that. Say no to Crip Crow.
Can you explain what Crip Crow means for people, so that they understand?
Naida, you better explain. It sounds terribly offensive.
I love that. It sounds offensive too. It pisses people. It gets you in that trigger spot.
It is offensive, and it's meant to get under your skin. So
there it is. Cool.
So,
thanks, Keith. Go ahead, Naida.
So in Black disability spaces, there is a term cripping, Crip Crow, and or Jim Crip Crow, where it's about the prison, the special ed to prison pipeline, or just segregating people who have disabilities and they're primarily Black and brown in prisons, like keeping them segregated. And so I liked the Crip Crow part of that. And it's actually true. That's what we did as a society. We shoved people into institutions to hide them, right? People with disabilities were not allowed to get educations before 1975. People with disabilities were lobotomized. That happened to RFK Jr.'s aunt. It literally took.
By the way, Nick, dog barks are always allowed.
It's dog bell time. Someone's at the door.
It doesn't matter that dog barks are always allowed.
I just didn't want to interrupt Naida. No, she was on a roll.
On a roll, but I hear a barking dog, I get excited. Naida,
he loves dogs. So there is. We used to institutionalize people, and it took until. And I know there's a lot of people mad at the former right, who would now be like center, Reagan particularly, but he's the one who actually said these institutions need to be shut down because of the human rights abuses in them. And that's how we got here, right? That's how we got to this Supreme Court decision, right? Like all of these laws that were signed by Republicans that gave the basis of
what guys, tell me what you're doing. What can you do? Don't worry about the dog. There's a Supreme Court ruling. The Justice Department is trying to work around that. What can we do to stop what they're doing?
So what we can do is, thank you, Keith and Joe, for putting up that website.
There it is. Cool. Awesome.
Is on the screen. There's a website, broadbanner.com/crip-crow. If you go to that webpage, Naida and I have partnered together. It's a webpage that I've been building and I put together to make a very simple single spot where you can take action. And that action is coordinated efforts with us, all of us, to be calling, emailing, faxing, generally making ourselves obnoxious for democracy and for rights so that we can't be ignored. And so we have put together this webpage that contains the steps to take action. What do? You find your representative or your senator's phone number, you call them daily, and you use the scripts that we've provided. We have 3 different script templates on the webpage. We have ready to use scripts where you can submit your zip code. It is not kept. It is not stored. It is not held. All it does is produces the phone numbers for your representative, your 2 senators, their DC, and their field office numbers. And you can call with any 3 of the scripts that we have. We give you tips on how to do it.
And let me, again, everybody, the website's right there, broadbanner.com/crip crow. Love that. There's the
And
website right there. I can just say, Naida, before you jump in, as a former member of Congress, this kind of advocacy does make a difference. Members of Congress, the House and the Senate, pay attention to informed advocacy like this. So these calls, these emails, these faxes can make a difference. Go ahead, Naida.
And I just want to add something. I am a local official in my city. I serve as the secretary of my city's Disability Commission Advisory Board. And we are actually going to be taking this up in our meeting on Thursday. And it's going to take not just, the people calling their members of Congress, but it's going to take, local commissions, the states, your AGs to tell DOJ they can take a long walk off a very short pier. And that's basically what it is. We're going to have to come together. I said this to Nick when I said, hey, we need to get the word out. We need to do this like we did with Epstein.
Yeah.
We need the power of public opinion to be so strong against this memo, that they codify Olmstead via amendment with no other regulations around, like regulating independent long care facilities or anything like that. We got to play the hand that we have and who we have in the office.
Well, and again, Naida, this is like alarm bell shit. Like, this memo of a few weeks ago basically says that states do not have to follow federal disability laws. That's what this memo says. And if that doesn't fucking get everybody off of their ass, then nothing will. And by the way, Naida, I'm glad you're a local official. I think you should be president of the United States. We'll talk about that.
I prefer Naida. Say no to Crip Crow all the way.
Nick and I are working in the administration. You got to promise us somewhere.
I'll do the media. I'll do media relations on that.
The website, broadbanner.com/crip-crow. Put that on your forehead, put that on your fridge, put that in your phone. Do what you can do for Americans right now with disabilities, and for Americans, by the way, who simply dissent because the Trump administration, Stephen Miller, are trying to yank them into all of this as well. This is scary, scary stuff, and it's damn good that we've got 2 committed folks like Nick and Naida doing something about this. Go ahead, Nick.
And when you make your calls and emails, we're encouraging, one, Joe, you can speak on this as someone who is a former representative, is when you make these calls, when you send these emails, we have a block in there that says, please add your personal story or why it matters. Yeah. Don't just call with the message. Always finish it with, this is important to me for these reasons. This is important to me because I am a member of the disability community, and these are my rights and freedoms that are going to be taken away. This also impacts, and this may be obvious for some, but it needs to be said, is this impacts severely the veteran community. Because those of us who go to the VA, who use the VA for our only service providers, myself, others that I know, are afraid now to talk about our mental health and our disabling effects to our VA providers, because I know that Secretary of the VA, Doug Collins, does not give a shit about veterans and veteran health. I know that the Department of Defense doesn't give a shit about our mental health, our well-being, and our futures. And we have to call that out too. This is an attack on the veteran community. This is an attack on the civilian community. This is an attack on all of us, because disability rights Disability, freedoms, accessibility, and equity are for everyone, not just folks with disabilities. They're for all of us. And if you don't think so, go to a building with a ramp on it when you've got a broken leg.
Amen, Nick. Well said. By
Can
the
I
way,
just say something?
Naida, I'm giving you 10 seconds. Go.
The one thing I do want to say, as somebody who has sworn an oath to the U.S. Constitution and my state constitution, this memo spits in my face personally, as one, as a person with a disability, but two, as a local, somebody who serves as I don't get paid to be and serve on this commission. I'm volunteering my time. This spits in my face because I swore an oath to protect the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the US.
Yeah.
And so for this administration to say we are not going to basically pursue when bad actors are doing bad things, it makes my job, to make my city welcoming more difficult.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that from a public officials, and I'm not here in my public official capacity, but I am saying it makes it more difficult for those states and cities and counties trying to do the right thing and follow the law. Now we don't have the backup of the federal government.
Perfectly put, Naida. Perfectly put. The website, broadbanner.com/crip-crow. Go there. Help. Do what you can. Naida Green is the head of the Disability Community for Democracy. Nick Paro, sick of this shit publications. Follow him. Subscribe to him on Substack. They're doing yeoman's work with this. Thank you both, you two. Keep us posted and let us know how we can help.
Thank you, Joe. See you are you doing your live on Thursday for paid subscribers?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Do not promote my Substack right now, Naida. That's horrible of you.
I love you, Joe. Sorry.
Love you back. Love you back. Love you both back. Thank you both. Everybody, again, the website, broadbanner.com/crip-crow. Go there.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Help.
Bye, Joe.
Thanks, everybody. Nick, Naida, thanks. Everybody else, thank you. Be brave. Be brave.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.